Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Ahead of the presentation of the $1.6 billion budget by Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Alan Shastney, we heard from you about your expectations of the budget.
I wish that the government would strengthen the middle class, because every society needs a strong middle class to be able to help the poor, you know. And I pray that the government would support the NGOs, the charitable organizations, Salvation Army, Feed the Poor, the Crisis Center, you know, and they will cancel all these big projects like the airport, cancel that, and focus on how they could empower the people, putting money in the hands of St. Lucians so it could spill back over into the economy. So that's my expectations. Strengthen the middle class, support the NGOs, cancel them big projects, you know, and work on putting monies in the hands of St. Lucians so it can go back into the economy. And try to ensure that we could continue to strengthen the healthcare, because our healthcare needs a lot of attention.
I'm not expecting anything much, but just free up the borders, the zone, so that the North and South would trade once more and things go unfold itself, man.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. That's all I have to say.
I'm not expecting nothing from the budget. The Prime Minister talking about the hospital and the airport. That go nowhere. Who's bank that will give me money for that? Instead you're talking about people health, you're talking about the hospital and the thing. Because I man give no good statement last night. Look, Dominica opened the rum thing. Give us something. We want something. You are giving us nothing. That is my solution to it. If you had opened that, I want to buy a ginger wine and I good.
What about the budget?
The budget has nothing in it. The budget has nothing in it. The budget have to wheel and come back again, guys. That have nothing in it for nobody, guys. The government, where you getting the money for the budget? Where you getting? Gaza help first. Let me take care of our people. When the budget comes, let me see what it have in it tomorrow.
L'événement de l'argent pour été, c'est ce qu'il fait. Il parle en choice. C'est puis après.
I expect the Prime Minister will have to do some more borrowing. And maybe he might take a little bit much more from the NIC to see how we can carry on with that budget. But that will really be a difficult budget, and I expect there'll be a lot of cutting down. I don't know if he will be able to carry on all the big projects. You understand? But I hope the hospital at Beaufort will have been completed, because it's time. I didn't have to take him Corona, whatever it is, to have opened the EU hospital. That should have been opened ever since, you know. So anyway, I wish him well. I wish him all the best, because really, I wouldn't like to be Prime Minister around that time.
I expect we're going to be all right, but what I expect from the budget is that get money for the corona. We've got to get some money to help the people in the corona. That's all. Budget will come back. Okay, we can have a mini budget, you know. You can have a little a preliminary budget. A budget just for the corona. Yeah. Just for the corona, we want a budget. We don't want to cut people's salaries. We don't want the city workers to go home. We don't want to get the people that out of a job. We want to see a supplementary budget. A budget just for the corona. You're talking about maybe about $50 million. We borrow from the Taiwanese bank. But we want a budget for the corona. We got to have money to deliver the corona. I mean, we're going to get a little help otherwise. But what I'm saying is that I believe the government is trying their best. The opposition, you have the backing. I am a Lucian. And if I had a little money, I would give the country to help the country, because it's budget and we're suffering. I'm a pensioner. I ain't get a raise. They can give me a little raise. Give the pensioners a little raise because we're in crisis. All right, we don't have money. You can take a back seat. But don't come and take our money and do wow. And look at the crisis. So I'm all right. I want everybody to be all right, and I'm praying for everybody in St. Lucia that the budget, we can have a little supplementary budget. A budget just for the corona. And tell the Governor General to tell them that. The Governor General knows We go to Parliament to get money from Taiwan, borrow the money to help the people because we have to stimulate the economy. The economy has to be stimulated. It will not stimulate in 1 month, 2 months, but time. Amen. God bless us and bless. What? Your station is 7. That's my station. 7. Bless them, the workers, the frontline people. How can you cut down the frontline people, the people on the front line, sacrificing the minibus drivers for their lives? You're going to cut their salary. That will not work. The doctor told them that. Dr. Steve King told them. The accountant, Mr. Jamari, told them that it's not the time to cut salaries. Borrow. Borrow. Borrow from the NIC, you pay back. And you borrow Cabo. You borrow Cabo. You borrow, all everybody get borrow. You're borrowing for your people. Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Alan Shasdev, respect. I know Mr. Alan. He's not a bad Prime Minister, but he needs the advisors. Set up a committee like Jimmy Fletcher. All them, St. Lucia have a lot of experts, a lot of people, bring them in for us to handle that in the front line. And I believe if we do that, we'll be safe. We're not out of the woods yet. We're only trying to control it. St. Lucia is doing very well, you know. St. Lucia is the third country in the world on ratio, on capital, yeah. We're fine.
Tell Shas to dissolve the house. That's all I expecting him to do. No budget, because he give all these foreigners people money already in this country. So dissolve the house and call election. That's all what I could tell him.
Well, I'm expecting the Prime Minister to have a good budget speech tomorrow. And also the Governor General, because that's what we're expecting. I want him to put work in the country because a lot of people crying there is no work. So I expect him budget have a good thing coming out. And whatever come out in the budget, I'll support it.
Leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre, is continuing to appeal to the government to change its trajectory in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. He says the government needs to set its priorities straight with the allocation of money for what it has deemed luxurious projects. Genevieve Gonzaga has more.
Leader of the opposition, Philip J. Pierre, has chided the government for the proposed pay cuts for public sector workers. Pierre says the government needs to get its act together as its first responsibility is for the people. He indicated that it is very irresponsible to want to continue with luxurious projects but want to inconvenience civil servants at such a trying period of time.
The government wants to continue all its projects that are unnecessary at this time. The government insists that they must continue them. But in terms of paying the civil servants, the government wants to reduce their income. When you cut their disposable income, you reduce the money that you have to spend in the economy. By reducing the money you have to spend in the economy, you are reducing demand. So you are making a situation, a bad situation, worse.
Pierre says the government needs to ensure that all political campaign agendas are seized and commit to ensuring the effects of COVID-19 are dealt with.
It must rearrange its priorities and change some of the projects that they are gung-ho to do because an election is near.
In the same breath, he admonished the government for not being able to uphold their last set of political promises, but indicated that now was not the time for their top priority to be gaining political points. Pierre, however, earnestly believes that the public sector should not be asked to sacrifice the pay, especially given the situation the country and the world by extension is facing. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzaga.
Now, Minister for Civil Aviation Guy Joseph addressed concerns regarding the continuation of the HIA redevelopment project. He claims the advice provided by the opposition on the matter is simply a means of creating mischief and therefore has called on the opposition to justify their preferred approach. Opposition Senator Joachim Henry was present to do just that.
According to Minister for Civil Aviation Guy Joseph, the advice provided by the opposition in regards to a way forward for the UNORA International Airport redevelopment project may have been far from genuine. Joseph believes that the jabs made at the government's course of action have simply been a means of creating mischief and deterring the progress of the development. He called on the opposition not only to be more transparent with their motives, but to also determine if their proposed course of action would have been any more prudent.
When you see failed politicians in their policies, when they had the opportunity to do it, they did not do it right. So the advice they're trying to give is to create mischief. And I have asked them on several occasions, and I want the media to ask them, if we had gone with the arrangement that they had proposed through the IFC, would that money be in discussion today?
His call was answered by opposition Senator Joachim Henry, who was eager to issue a direct response to Joseph.
I mean, there are other areas that needs to be addressed, but, you know, investing in an airport at this point in time, Mr. Guy Joseph, certainly, I don't know how he's thinking, and I believe no ordinary St. Lucian at this time would see the value in investing in an airport.
Henry says the opposition maintains its position regarding government spending habits and its apparent lack of translation into substantial and timely local development. Port 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
SLP leader Philip J. Pierre has confirmed that the party has given a stamp of approval to 2 candidates for the Castries South, East and Soufriere seats. An election is constitutionally due in 2021. Post-COVID-19, it should be a very interesting contest for governance of a country that will undoubtedly still be on the road to recovery from the economic fallout of the pandemic. Which candidates and party will convince the voting public that they have what it takes to revive the economy and lead the country? That is left to be seen. But the opposition St. Lucia Labour Party is getting its house in order with the recent confirmation of 2 candidates, one for the Castries South East seat, the other for the Soufriere seat.
The executive of the party has just endorsed 2 new candidates for South East Castries and for Soufriere.
South East Castries?
Yes,
and Soufriere. Can you give us those names?
Well, I guess the South East Castries candidate is Senator Joachim Henry, and the Soufriere candidate is the former Minister of Commerce, Ms. Emma HIPPOLYTE.
In a previous interview with Hot 7 conducted in the scenic town of Soufriere, Emma HIPPOLYTE stated that her vast experience set her apart from the other possible candidates. Her resume is certainly impressive, from her days heading the NIC to her stint as Commerce Minister. But there has been talk of a disconnect between HIPPOLYTE and the town that she hopes to represent. It is a sentiment that HIPPOLYTE dismissed, along with criticisms surrounding her age.
I'm from Soufriere. I know the constituency. I was born here. I have maintained links with the constituency. My experience both in administration, private sector, public sector, my traveling the world, seeing what is happening, trying to take all this wisdom and experience and trying to make it a reality to improve the lives of the people of Soufriere. So I think in terms of experience, knowledge and know-how, Auntie Emma is ready. But the things, I don't know what the priorities are, but for Auntie Emma, I can see the new Soufriere that I want to see and the development of our young people. A lot of people say, well, you need a young candidate for young people. You know, it's only the aunts and the mothers who can sit with the young people and work with them, hear their ideas, put it together, my business knowledge, look at their strengths, give them advice, and that's what I'm doing on the ground all the time.
Joachim Henry, now a senator, contested the election against incumbent Guy Joseph in 2016. Joseph won the Castries South East seat by over 1,000 votes. Henry confirmed his candidacy outside of the House of Assembly on Tuesday.
I've received such information from the leader of the opposition, but apart from that, there's been no public announcement where that is concerned. But yes. Yes, I'm the endorsed guy will be contesting the election in Castries South East.
The opposition SLP has for the time being struck a conciliatory tone with a government which it considers a failure due to the pressing national COVID-19 crisis. The mood for now is one of joint effort to contain the virus. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more coming up after the break.